All right, I believe we should be live. Good evening and welcome into another edition of Dodgers Dawgs live here as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. My name is Austin Brubaker. You can find me on social media on Twitter or X at AustinBRU99. I am here. I'm your host today. Casey is off going fishing as he does on Mondays during the season. And we are officially in Dodgers season. We are officially in baseball season. The Dodgers have started. The baseball club has started. And pretty soon the rest of the Dodgers minor league affiliates will be starting as well. But we've gotten an idea, at least a little bit, a small picture of what this Dodgers team is going to look like, what the character and makeup of this team is. I'm excited about this team. There's so much to talk about, even in the small portion of the season that we've talked about. Some of the good, some of the concerning things that we're seeing from this Dodgers club. We'll get into all of it. This show is going to be led by you guys, though. You guys are the heartbeat of this show. You guys do an amazing job in the comment section, keeping it civil, providing great and thoughtful questions and insight into this Dodgers club. This is how it should work out, is constant communication back and forth between all of us to try to get this club to be the best possible team that it can be. I'm excited to be here, part of the ride, trying to lead through the discussion, and there's a lot to talk about. The Dodgers bullpen situation. The Dodgers decided to send down Kyle Hurt, which we talked a little bit about in the podcast that we released early this morning, which I recommend that you go listen to that. We'll talk about that situation. They called up Nabil Crismatt. He performed well. The Dodgers just made a move. They are bringing up Dinelson Lamet, former MLB player. He's pitched in the big leagues quite a bit. Pitched for the Padres, now part of the Dodgers system. He's called up. Nabil Crismatt has been designated for assignments to make room for him. Part of the Dodgers plan and what they seem to do, calling up pitchers from minor leagues, designating some from the assignments, some of these veteran type pitchers to get through the necessary innings of the season. And especially with the news that was announced that they were planning on having a bullpen game coming up tomorrow's game instead of having a Tyler Glasnow and Bobby Miller start games 2 and 3 against the Giants. It makes somewhat sense why the Dodgers would want to do this. We're going to get into the bullpen aspect. We'll also be talking about some of the minor league rosters that have been announced, including the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, who a couple hours ago announced their roster for the start of the 2024 season. So we'll be diving into that, which is going to be a fun segment, and what that could potentially mean for Tulsa and Great Lakes, as their rosters have yet to be announced yet. It's going to be a fun evening. As I stated, welcome in. This show is going to be led by you guys, so I'll be taking all of the comments, reading through you guys, and talking exactly about what you guys want to do. We'll also be digging into the Dodgers versus the Giants, as that series begins tonight, 7 o'clock Pacific. 10 o'clock Eastern here. We're still a couple hours away from the start of game time. We'll be digging into that, talking a little bit about the pitching matchup. James Paxton versus Keaton Winn. Going to be a lot of fun tonight here as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Dodgers Dawgs live on Monday night. Roy Estrada, thank you very much for joining, as well as Gregory is in the house. Nando says, hi everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. Quote from Vin Scully. Thank you very much for saying that, Nando. Definitely always enjoy it when we have some Vin Scully quotes in here. As well as Denard is in the chat, who says, go Dodgers. Absolutely. Chris is in the chat as well and says, hi Austin, we'll probably need to touch on the Dodgers bullpen situation. Kyle Hurt, Alex Vesia, Michael Grove, etc. Yes. What are some of the biggest takeaways that you guys have about this Dodgers team currently? Particularly, what are some of your biggest takeaways that you have on this Dodgers bullpen? We've just had such a small sample size so far. We've had the 2 games in Korea and the 1 series against in Korea, and then we had the 1 series against the Cardinals. What have you guys taken away from this bullpen? There's been some pitchers that have performed well. There's been some pitchers that we've seen some struggling performances. We saw that with a Joe Kelly the other night. We've seen a little bit of struggle from an Alex Vesia coming out of the left side of the pen. Are you concerned about Joe Kelly or Alex Vesia? Which one of those, and how concerned are you guys about them? Right now, I'm not overly concerned yet, just because, I mean, if you're talking about Joe Kelly, you're just talking about the one appearance that he had against the Cardinals. I'm not pressing the panic button quite yet. Alex Vesia, we've seen some of the struggles that he's had, not just this season, but in past seasons as well, too, which creates a little bit of a concern, especially if he's supposed to be the anchor on the left side of the mound or pitching from the left side for the Dodgers out of this bullpen. It leaves a little bit to be desired, which is why we've talked a lot about different ideas. Like Showtime LA says, we need a Tanner Scott. Alex Vesia is not reliable, and Miami needs catchers and pitchers, which we have plenty of. This is something that we've been talking about quite a bit. Tanner Scott, who is a great relief pitcher for the Miami Marlins, would be a great fit for this Dodgers team because he provides a lot, especially out of the left side, pitching from the left side. I think he would be a great fit for the Dodgers. Throws hard, has great stuff, has some really good swing and miss to his arsenal. Tanner Scott, been talking about him quite a bit. Be patient. I don't think the Dodgers are ready to make this move quite yet. I think they're going to bear out the initial wave of the season before they consider making a trade for a relief pitcher, especially because they have some of these veteran type players in the minor leagues, like a Nabil Crismatt or like a Dinelson Lamet, that they can call up. And if they need to, they can designate them for assignments and not feel like they are missing out on a whole lot. And I think that is thinking about it and just letting it settle in with the situation with Kyle Hurt. Let's talk about it a little bit, because Kyle Hurt is somebody that I followed for a long time, dating back to his days in 2022 when he was part of the Great Lakes Loons, threw a 5-inning no-hitter for them. And then last year, just looking at some of the analytical, looking at some of the strikeout numbers, it's absolutely absurd what Kyle Hurt was able to do. Nearly a 40% strikeout percentage. He generated swing and miss just about 20% of the pitches that he threw last season with a 19.7, I believe, swing strike percentage. Kyle Hurt is absolutely nasty, and we've seen him perform incredibly well. We saw him perform well during his outing on Saturday against the Cardinals. He was really effective, yet the Dodgers decided to send Kyle Hurt down as the corresponding move for Nabil Crismatt. And the reason why the Dodgers, or at least publicly it's been made known that the Dodgers wanted to do that or decided to do that, has to do just with the length or health of the bullpen, health of some of the starting pitchers, and making sure that you have guys that are ready to go out of the bullpen on the necessary time. Nabil Crismatt was ready to go. He was an arm that could pitch in Sunday's game because Kyle Hurt went multiple innings, because he pitched 2 2/3 innings on Saturday. He was not going to be ready to go for at least a little while for the Dodgers. So the Dodgers decided that having an arm that was healthy, that was ready to go, that can provide a little bit more rest to your arms, is something that the Dodgers prioritized. And I think this is an indication of potentially what the Dodgers are going to do going forward in the future. The Dodgers want desperately, perhaps above all else right now, to keep their arms as healthy as they possibly can, especially the arms that they view as the playoff type arms that are going to go through the long run, like the Tyler Glasnow, like a Yoshinobu Yamamoto, like a Bobby Miller, like an Evan Phillips. All of these guys, they need healthy, ready to go for the postseason when they get there. I know that's a long ways away. We're only 6 games into the regular season, yet because we're just coming out of spring training when guys are able to get a little bit more rest, because some of the starting pitchers are still stretching out, still trying to get multiple innings, The Dodgers need arms. They need guys who will be able to come in and substitute and provide innings to give the necessary rest that this Dodgers team needs. I think that is the heart of the Dodgers decision to go ahead and call up a Nabil Crismatt and send down a Kyle Hurt. One, because Kyle Hurt had the several innings that he pitched, and it provided the Dodgers with a fresh arm. Now, here's when you can take away and when you can disagree with the decision, because by sending Kyle Hurt down, yes, it does use one of his minor league options, which the Dodgers, I think if we're being honest with ourselves, not that it was the right thing to do, but it was very likely that at some point the Dodgers were going to send down Kyle Hurt just because he does have minor league options, and a lot of pitchers on the Dodgers club don't have a lot of minor league options. Kyle Hurt didn't deserve to get sent down. But what happens as a result of sending Kyle Hurt down is he doesn't just have to stay down in the minor leagues until he's ready to go, ready to pitch his next outing. I believe, according to MLB rules, and if I'm wrong on this, please let me know, Kyle Hurt, I believe, has to spend at least 15 days because he is a pitcher down at the minor league level, unless there's some type of injury or unless there is a doubleheader, in which case they could bring him up as the 27th man, or if there's an injury, they can go ahead and call him up. But there's a time period where Kyle Hurt is going to have to spend at the minor league level before he's ready to go, ready to call up, which is one of the downsides of this decision, downsides of sending a Kyle Hurt down. Yet, I think, especially with what the Dodgers are planning on doing tomorrow with having it be a bullpen game, I think it's very likely going to be a Ryan Yarbrough and probably a Michael Grove-led pitching game tomorrow against the Giants. I think that's going to be the bullpen type game that they wanted, and especially because Kyle Hurt wasn't going to be ready to go for that bullpen game. He was one of the only guys that they could send down that has options. Go down and spend some time in the minor league. So it sucks. Kyle Hurt is going to make an impact on this club. I believe in Kyle Hurt, and I think he has a real shot if given the opportunity to make an impact on this Dodgers club, not just during the regular season, but also during the postseason as well. I think his stuff is that good. I think the swing and miss ability that Kyle Hurt has, we've talked about it quite a bit, is lethal and is going to be so effective against big league hitters. He just needs the necessary time at the big league level to get adjusted, to get adapted to the big league level, and to find out how to get big league hitters out, which is a cost of what you do if you're the Dodgers, if you play this up and down game going from the major league level to the AAA level. Right now, I believe the Dodgers, they clearly made the decision that it is worth it right now to try to keep their arms as healthy as possible. So they called up Nabil Crismatt. He was designated for assignment today. Now they have Dinelson Lamet. He's going to be ready to go. I believe today he should be ready to go. I don't know if they'll utilize him today, give some of their other bullpen arms that have seen some action back-to-back days. Daniel Hudson and Evan Phillips got back-to-back days, and Alex Vesia. A lot of these guys are getting a lot of action early to provide them with some rest. Perhaps we see a Dinelson Lamet, and then maybe it is a little bit more of a revolving door. Now, a question that could be asked, and I think it is a totally fair and justifiable one, is what about some of these younger guys that deserve opportunities at the big league level, like in Alec Gamboa or John Rooney, or some of these guys that are so close to the big league level? Why aren't they getting the opportunities over a Dinelson Lamet, over a Nabil Crismatt? And I think it has to do, whether we like it or not, has to do with the fact that the Dodgers, I think their plan probably was to designate some of these guys for assignment, get an outing or two out of them, and then end up moving on from them. And I don't think the Dodgers really want to move on from a lot of their good, talented young arms. As best as that might be for the players, that might not be in the best interest for the organization. So you could see some of these veteran guys. You could see a Steven Gonzalez come up and pitch a game or two for the Dodgers. You could see Drew Pomeranz, who was just signed to the Dodgers on a minor league deal, potentially be part of this revolving door and potentially part of an issue of the potentially part of a solution going forward if they pitch well. This is going to likely be something that the Dodgers do. This is a game that the Dodgers have played in the past. If you look at some of their past baseball references, you'll see for the pitchers, you don't just see the 20 or 22 pitchers that were on the 40-man roster. You'll see 30, 35, 40 guys, and some of those guys just have a couple of outings. This is something that the Dodgers and big league clubs have and continue to do, and it's disappointing for Kyle Hurt, no doubt. And he is going to get opportunities, or at least should get opportunities at the big league level. This is what the incentive structures have for Major League Baseball that have led to this, and this is something that the Dodgers have decided they want to keep their arms as healthy as possible, that they're going to do this to try to utilize that. So that's my read on the Kyle Hurt situation. If you have a different read, please let me know down in the comments section, because I'd love to have this good interaction with the fans, with the people and community here on Dodgers Daily. As far as the other relievers out of the bullpen for Joe Kelly, for an Alex Vesia, again, like I stated before, I'm not pressing the panic button right now. I think it is far too early, and I think we can be misguided by judging appearances or judging a person based off of one sample size or one outing or just a couple of outings. I think Joe Kelly still has dominant electric stuff that can be really effective, especially against right-handed hitters. And Alex Vesia has proven at times in the past that he can be effective, and he has proven himself later in the season in the past. So we'll see how much runtime the Dodgers give in Alex Vesia. Joe Kelly is going to be on this big league roster, and he's going to be given significant runtime because of the contract that he has and because he doesn't have minor league options. Alex Vesia has a minor league option, so potentially if Alex Vesia is not performing, we could see him be sent down to AAA Oklahoma City, potentially at some point in the season. We'll have to wait and see what happens. And then Michael Grove is another guy who has struggled a little bit during the initial part of this season. I am expecting, or I think it's likely, that he's going to pitch probably tomorrow if it's going to be a bullpen game, in which case we'll see how he adjusts, how he adapts to his next outing, if that comes tomorrow, if that comes during the next outing. Right now, the Dodgers need innings, and they need healthy arms. He is one, and he can provide length out of the bullpen. We'll see how he's able to perform right now. I'm not pressing or giving up on Michael Grove. I still think there's a lot of talent that he has. It definitely has been concerning his performances so far. So thank you very much for the comment, Chris, and Showtime LA for bringing up the Tanner Scott, who definitely is somebody that we need to keep in mind when we're talking about the Dodgers and their potential role going forward and potential options for the Dodgers going forward. I don't think any of us would have expected Nabil Crismatt to perform just as well as he did during his outing yesterday. Relief pitchers, and again, that's a small sample size, so you can't judge too much out of that. That's just to say that relief pitchers can pop out of nowhere, which is part of the volatility of relief pitchers. They can be good one year and not so great the next year. They also can be not so great one year and great the next year. And we'll have to wait and see who are some of those good arms once we get a larger sample sizes and as we continue to go deeper into the 2024 season of Major League Baseball, which is officially here. And that is so good. That is so exciting to be able to say that and to have that reality be a part of this. So thank you so much for joining us. So go ahead and get back into the comments section right here. Johnny Cage, thank you so much for joining us right here. That was messed up what they did to Nabil Crismatt. They should have DFA'd Alex Vesia instead. That could have been an option, yet because Alex Vesia does have some minor league options, I believe they wanted to utilize an Alex Vesia, and I think we saw this through the course of the Dodgers offseason with some of the relief pitchers that they decided to move off of. A Caleb Ferguson, a Yency Almonte, a Victor Gonzalez. All of those relief pitchers did not have minor league options to where they could send them up and down, and Alex Vesia does. So you have those 3 relief pitchers who have had good, solid success in the past that the Dodgers decided to move off of during the course of the offseason. Alex Vesia was stuck around. I think he still has talent. I wouldn't give up on Alex Vesia quite yet, and especially because the Dodgers do have the option to send him down to Oklahoma City if things really aren't going well and they feel like he needs to spend more time. Obviously, I think it is unfair to the player, just the volatility that comes with major league rosters, and especially on the fringes of major league rosters where you're up one day and then designated for assignment to the next day. I'm sure that's difficult for a player, but I'm glad Nabil Crismatt got that moment, and he had an opportunity to show major league organizations that he still has talent in there. So it'll be interesting to see if another organization has room and decides to claim Nabil Crismatt, or if he returns to the Dodgers organization and continues to have depth in Oklahoma City. If he returns to the Dodgers organization, I don't think this is the last that you'll see of Nabil Crismatt in a Dodgers uniform, but we will have to wait and see. Alex Vesia is going to be a part of this Dodgers team, at least for a little bit longer. History Man, thank you very much for joining us. Go Dodgers and God bless. Thank you so much. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, thank you so much for joining us as well, and he talks a little bit about Ohtani hitting. This is something that I had mentioned during the podcast during this morning with Casey and I, which was released. Highly recommend that you go check it out. Right now, if you're talking about the position players that are struggling a little bit, right now, at least for the past couple of games, Shohei Ohtani has been struggling just a little bit as far as the results. Now, the contact is still there. The contact is incredible, and you're seeing the exit velos well over 110, 113, 114. He had a 119 fly ball in Korea. Some of those numbers are really breathtaking and lead to some of the implication that Shohei Ohtani is going to be just fine. That's where I stand right now. I think Shohei Ohtani possibly could be pressing, possibly could be dealing with the fallout of everything that he's been dealing with over the past week or two. I think Shohei Ohtani is one of the best hitters in the game of baseball, and I think a talent like that is going to be able to find his swing, and especially because we're seeing the hard contact of Shohei Ohtani still, I think that leads credence to believe that Shohei Ohtani is going to be just fine. And if he is able to really take that step forward, really able to get back to that player that he is, and again, we're talking about a 6-game sample size, he is going to be great. He's going to be phenomenal. And we saw during Game 1 against the Cardinals just how great this top 3 of the lineup can be. That can carry a club through a lot of games. The Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman at 1, 2, 3 at the top of your lineup. Most teams aren't going to have an answer for that. And we've seen that Mookie Betts getting a lot of pitches to hit, and he has performed incredibly well. Freddie Freeman has had some success early on in this season. Shohei Ohtani is going to be just fine. So then that leads to question about some of the other players that are struggling in this roster. I still have all the confidence in the world in James Outman. I'm not ready to jump aboard or get out of the James Outman hype train. James Outman, as we talked about in the past, last year, according to FWAR, was a top 5 to 10 center fielder in the game of baseball. He had a 4.4, I believe, Fangraphs WAR last season. He was phenomenal. His bat is going to come around, and last season we talked through about the struggles that he had even through the course of that season. There were times throughout the season when he really struggled, especially during the middle part of the season. He was able to make the adjustments. He was able to adapt. I still believe that James Outman is going to be able to make those adjustments and able to adapt. I liked some of the hard contact, especially early in the series against Korea. Last series was a little bit disappointing from the output that he was able to provide. James Outman will be fine. He will be able to make these adjustments. Be patient with a lot of these guys. As we get started with the 2024 campaign, we'll be just fine. And once he gets back to the player that he can be, he's just going to lengthen out that lineup so incredibly much more. It's going to be something that the Dodgers are going to really value, and it's going to help this club on a margin and just make them just that much more better. James Outman is going to be fine. He's a great player. One-Eyed Dragon is joining us. Thank you very much for joining us as well. Roy Estrada says, let's sweep the Giants. Yes, that is the goal. That is always the goal when you're going up against the San Francisco Giants, is you want to win and you want to sweep them. And tonight they have an opportunity to start off well against the Giants. James Paxton is going to be taking the mound, first time in 2024 for the Dodgers on the rotation. In the rotation for the Dodgers, he's going to be going up against Keaton Wynn, who is a pitcher who just got called up last year for the Giants. Actually faced the Dodgers late in 2023, September 29th. Gave up 6 runs against the Dodgers. He's got some good stuff. He's got a fastball. He's got the split finger changeup. There's some good stuff there. Very highly thought of for the Giants coming up through their system. Dodgers are still going to be dealing with that. It's going to be it's going to be an exciting game that the Dodgers are going to have as they start off this series against the Giants. It's going to be James Paxton tonight, bullpen game in Game 2, and then Tyler Glasnow is going to be going for the sweep in Game 3 against the Giants. Daniel Berry Sports Highlight says, Kenley Jansen, bring him back with the laughing emoji right here. That certainly could be an option, and there certainly has been a lot of rumors about it, and somehow that would not surprise me from the Dodgers because they seem to have some nostalgia for some of their players or seem to have certain guys that they really seem to like that have stuck around throughout the years. And Kenley Jansen, no doubt about it, during a lot of times throughout his Dodgers career was really good and was an important part of this Dodgers team, important part of this Dodgers bullpen, that you could very well see the Dodgers possibly bringing him back. I don't think it's the wisest move to do that right now. I think I still have a lot that I want to see out of Kenley Jansen. And I also think that there's a lot of options out of the right side of your bullpen. I don't think that is an option right now. We'll have to wait and see. I'd rather see the Dodgers bring in a dominant left-handed bullpen piece, which I think is the case with a lot of Dodgers fans right now, looking for the Dodgers to, if they want to upgrade the bullpen, to bring in perhaps a little bit of a different arm, something unique for some opposing hitters to face. History Man, thank you very much for joining us again. Looking forward to Ohtani hitting his first home run this season. Absolutely. When do you guys think Ohtani is going to hit his first home run for the Dodgers, or first home run in Dodger Stadium? You think Ohtani is going to hit a home run tonight? Is it going to be during the series against the Giants, or are we going to have to wait a little bit longer before Shohei Ohtani hits his first home run during the regular season in a Dodgers uniform? That is the question. With Shohei Ohtani's power, I don't think we're going to have to wait too long. I think it is inevitable that Shohei Ohtani is going to hit his first home run, in which case somebody is going to get a very lucky home run if you're sitting out anywhere in the outfield. So definitely a reason to go to a lot of Dodgers games, to go and spend that money, to go sit out in the outfield, to try to be the one to catch the Shohei Ohtani's first home run in a regular season in Dodger Stadium. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, just reiterating, sweep the Giants. Nando390 says 6-man rotation are bullpen games, and that's kind of what Casey and I have talked about quite a bit when we said that, are the Dodgers going to go with a 6-man rotation? The answer is no, but kinda. And that kinda has to do with the Dodgers finding unique ways to give a lot of their starting pitchers some rest. It doesn't have to be through adding another 6th permanent starter, because if you add a permanent starter, sixth starter, the only way to supplement that, because you would have one less relief pitcher, you're stretching out your relief arms, is either by calling up a bunch of guys up and down from your bullpen, or potentially by having 3 or 4 guys out of your bullpen that can provide length in the game and length out of the bullpen, out of innings, which creates tricky situations to get you through the season. So what the Dodgers are doing is they're kind of doing a 6-man rotation, just having their bullpen game, or just coming up with unique ways to fill in an additional starting pitcher and or just to get through an additional game. Because as I stated at the start of the show, I think that the biggest thing that the Dodgers are concerned with right now, yes, winning baseball games, but also to keep their pitchers as healthy as possible. I think this is one of the ways that the Dodgers, whether you like the up-down train or not, I don't think it's great at all for the development of these younger guys, yet to keep the Dodgers pitchers, major league pitchers that they expect to be for the postseason, healthy. I think this is something that the Dodgers plan on doing, and the Dodgers inevitably will do. History Man says figuring out who to start because of all the talent is a great problem to have. That absolutely is right, and that is the exact problems that the Dodgers are looking to create, especially as Walker Buehler, who's currently pitching for the Oklahoma City Baseball Club, had his rehab outing on Sunday. Some part of it went pretty well. Some of the other parts gave up a couple of runs. He is on his way back. That's another arm that will be coming back at some point. A Clayton Kershaw should be coming back hopefully towards the end of the regular season. We're still waiting for updates potentially on hopefully an Emmett Sheehan coming back into the fold at some point during the regular season for the Dodgers. There's still a lot of talent that the Dodgers have that they hope that they have a surplus of pitching, because that was the exact opposite of what happened to this team last year in 2023, where they ran out of arms and it cost them in the postseason. The Dodgers should have enough arms, and that's going to create some really tough decisions for the Dodgers coming up throughout the course of the season, especially if all of these arms come back and healthy. Baseball is tough. Baseball can be cruel at times, so you have to anticipate the worst that could happen, and if all of your pitchers come back and are healthy, that is a great problem to have. That means things are going well for the Dodgers. Right now, the Dodgers, with their pitching rotation, with their staff, they have a lot of good options. They have a lot of good arms. They have a really good, solid 5-man rotation right now with a Tyler Glasnow, Bobby Miller, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who pitched well during his outing against the Cardinals. Then you have a Gavin Stone, who also pitched well last night against the Cardinals. Even though the final line might not look great, that one run, you can kind of give it to Alex Vesia, and even though by the rules it was Gavin Stone's run. Gavin Stone pitched really well, and you saw his electric stuff early in the game during that first inning when he struck out the side and that nasty changeup that he has. And then you have James Paxton, who's going to be making his debut tonight against the Giants. We'll see how that goes, and it's a good problem to have if you have a surplus of pitching. David Cole, thank you very much for joining us from Japan. Very happy that you're able to join us today. I actually have no idea what time it is over there in Japan, but thank you so much for joining us. Dodgers Daily, Dodgers Dawgs, part of the Dodgers Daily Network. History Man says a few games in, it's been a fun season so far. Absolutely, it has been a really good, really fun season. I think the biggest thing that I have taken away, and this is what I stated during the podcast this morning, definitely go check it out if you didn't get a chance to watch it. This team has a lot of fight in them. And we saw that on display. We saw that yesterday, the grit and toughness that this team has. You're never going to be able to count out this Dodgers team. And even during the loss during Saturday's game, they kept fighting and forced their way back into that game. And that's what happens when you create pressure, when you put players on base, when you have guys that can draw walks, or have guys that have incredible baseball skills, incredible bat-to-ball skills, this team is loaded with talent, and you can never count this team out of a ball game. And we saw that on full display this week. We got to see the clutch nature of a Max Muncy with his home run on Sunday. And I know his defense is not always there. His offense can be incredible and can provide real life to this team. There's a reason why he has been a good, valuable player according to statistical methods, baseball, advanced analytics. The WAR numbers have consistently been good to great, being a 2.5 to 4.5, 5 WAR type of player Max Muncy is. He's an exceptional player, and especially if he's able to hit for that power, which we know that he can hit for. If he's hitting for power and he's able to draw a bunch of walks, he's going to provide a lot of damage. And then combine that with Teoscar Hernandez, who can provide insane amount of power and just dominate against left-handed pitching. It just lengthens out this lineup so much to where you're incredibly worried 1 through 6 of Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, a Max Muncy, and a Teoscar Hernandez. You don't know how to get through that part of the order. You don't know how to get through that lineup without accruing damage. And combine that with some of the additional pitching that the Dodgers were able to do. That's why the Dodgers are so favored going in through the course of the season. NATO390, thank you so much for joining us. Says Dave Roberts left Joe Kelly in too long. Can't really disagree with that. It seemed to be part of what Dave Roberts likes to do, especially early in the season, is try to give some of these bullpen pieces some room to try to figure things out on their own, which means sometimes keeping a guy in too long and giving up some additional runs, and that seemed to cost them. You can have disagreements of whether you think he should pull the plug right away when he spots trouble, or try to go to the guy to win as many games as possible, or whether the growth that a player could have through some of these learning experiences, or trying to work through traffic and trying to figure out getting hitters out during a new season, whether that is worth it. I think that is a personal decision. Certainly during the playoffs, it cannot be that he leaves Joe Kelly in for that long. This will be worked out, and he's trying to find the guys during the 2024 season who are going to be reliable out of the bullpen, and that you can rely upon in a postseason type setting. Joe Kelly, you're going to have to test to see if he is as effective as he has been in the past, and that only comes through putting him through some experiences, putting him in some innings, some high leverage, high pressure situations. It just happened to work out that during his outing, he was not able to perform. So we'll see how he's able to do going forward. Chris says Alex Vesia is always concerned. He has been good in the past, but it's hard to disagree with that right now. Certainly want to wait and see to see how he is able to perform. Dodgers do have an option with an Alex Vesia that they can use if they have to. History Man says those extra inning games can mess with the bullpen the following day or game. That is something that you have to be a little bit concerned about for sure. It's not necessarily as impactful as it has been in the past when extra inning games would go 12, 13, 14 innings without the extra inning rule. You can debate whether you think the extra inning rule is good or not. It has shortened some of the time of the extra innings, or added some additional pressure to end extra inning games earlier and try to save some of the bullpen arms of these pitchers, but it can be taxing. And when the bullpen is taxed, you're going to see some of these moves that the Dodgers are going to do. We're going to see some of these younger arms or guys that have minor league options like a Kyle Hurt get sent back down to Oklahoma City, whether or not they deserved it. I don't believe Kyle Hurt did anything to deserve being sent down to the minor league level. But to provide some healthy arms to the Dodgers, that's the game that they are going to play, and that's the game that across Major League Baseball is going to happen. Okay, so Showtime LA says Joe Kelly will be fine. Roy Estrada's not too happy with Michael Grove. Nando says Michael Grove needs a change of scenery. We'll have to wait and see. I believe he's going to get an outing or an appearance either tonight or more likely tomorrow during the bullpen game. We'll see how he's able to perform. Major League Baseball, though, the results do matter, and Michael Grove's going to have an opportunity to show that he can be effective, and that during his bursts were, especially during that one outing in spring training when he was dominant and effective. And it's not just spring training outings. There's been outings at the major league level when he's been good to great at the big league level. It's about finding that consistency. And Michael Grove, if he wants to stick at the big league level, which I hope he does, he's a friend of Dodgers Daily here, he has to find that consistency at the big league level. That is something that he is currently working on, and we'll have to wait and see if the results are able to follow. The Dodgers will use the arms that they believe are going to be most effective and that are going to keep the Dodgers healthy going into the postseason. Be patient with this process. Showtime LA is totally fine with Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly will be fine. That seems to be what I feel like as well. I think Joe Kelly is going to do just fine. It is way too early in the season to jump too harshly to a judgment right there. Roy Estrada talking a little bit more about Alex Vesia, talking about walking some hitters. That is definitely a concern out of the bullpen. If you are walking hitters or hitting batters, that certainly does not bode well for you going forward into the future if you're able to do that out of the bullpen. Going forward right here, coming down to a couple of different comments. Sorry, I jumped up right here. Yes, tomorrow is going to be a bullpen game tomorrow. Roy Estrada, I believe they made that change just because it seemed like the Dodgers, that's just to give some of their starting pitchers rest. I believe that was announced about half an hour or so before I went on. It was a change from what initially was scheduled, with Tyler Glasnow originally was scheduled to pitch tomorrow with Bobby Miller on Wednesday. I believe that has changed unless an additional change has come up during the course of when I've been live here tonight. To Motley, thank you so much for joining us. It looks like Martin, Campos, Romero are headed to Great Lakes. That's a great infusion of talent. Want to see Robo and Bruns and Tulsa, hopefully. Yeah, it's really exciting, and that brings up something that I want to talk about right now, and I don't believe Tulsa and Great Lakes have announced their rosters yet. I don't, at least they haven't during the course right before I went on the show. But Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, the single A affiliate of the Los Angeles Dodgers, have announced their rosters. So we're going to show you guys the rosters that they have announced. So I have their rosters up on the screen right here. Really exciting to see some of these players that are going to be on Rancho's roster, which if you are in California, highly recommend you go and attend Rancho games. April 9th, Tuesday, April 9th, will be opening day for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Go check out this team because there's a ton of talent on this team right here. Looking at some of the pitchers, you notice a Patrick Copen, who you got to see during the exhibition game against the Angels for the spring breakout. He is really good. You get to see Carlos Duran, who's been part of this organization for quite a while. He's coming back, working to get healthy again. And Edgardo Henriquez, who we also saw during the spring breakout game against the Angels with his dominant electric stuff. You get to see some of these other guys that are working their way. You get to see fourth-round pick Eric Swan as part of the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes pitching staff. Reynaldo Yin has dominant electric stuff out of the bullpen. He's definitely an arm to keep an eye out for. I think the real thing to keep an eye out for, as well as all of the different pitchers who I'm familiar with some of these guys, haven't had a chance to watch a lot of these guys in action. The real highlights of this team for the Rancho has to do on the position player side, and this is where a lot of the excitement comes in. You get to see Josue De Paula, Kendall George, and Zaire Hope in the outfield. almost every single day for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, or at least in the starting lineup for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. That is incredible. That is a lineup that you got to see during the course of spring training that is electric, has a ton of speed if you're talking about a Kendall George who has 100 grade speed, or a Zaire Hope who has a lot of speed as well, and a Josue de Paula who has insane potential. People are so excited about Josue de Paula. You get to see them in the outfield every single day if you're in Rancho. You also get to see a Jake Geloff and a Joe Vetrano who are still working on their way, getting acclimated to the minor league level. I don't think they will be in Rancho for too long. They have insane power. You combine that, that's going to lengthen out the lineup. You get to have some of these other guys as well. A Wilman Diaz who's going to be working his way through the system. He's got some really good numbers. He's got some good stuff. And Jesus Galiz, perhaps one of the more forgotten about catching prospects in the system. Great defensively. He's going to be spending some more time in Rancho. This is the announced roster of the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, both the pitchers and the position players. If you live in the California area, anywhere near Rancho, or if you don't live near Rancho, but you live near one of the other California League affiliates, go check out this team. Go watch the Dodgers of the future. They are worth supporting. They are worth watching, because winning at the minor league level, yes, wins and losses don't translate at the big league level. Creating a winning culture matters, and it starts for the Dodgers in Rancho. Go out and support the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Go out and see Josue de Paula while you can. He will not be in Rancho forever. He will be very soon a Great Lakes Loon. I will be so excited when he is. He gets a little bit of a break, though. He doesn't have to come immediately into the 30 to 40 degree weather of Michigan. He gets to spend some time in Rancho. This lineup is going to be great. There's a ton of talent on the pitching staff as well. A lot of names that I haven't had a chance to see, so I don't want to provide too much feedback on these guys. You get a chance to watch them in action. Don't miss out on the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Go out April 9th, opening day, and Rancho Cucamonga. Go out and support the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. It is very fun. But that is the roster announced. Pretty soon, the Great Lakes Loons and Tulsa Drillers will be announcing their rosters, and I'm sure when they do, Casey and I will be providing some analysis, providing some coverage. I believe my cousin and my friend Damino, the Damino, sometimes joins us here in the chat. I believe they will be going to the season ticket holder event that's happening coming up this week. I will be in Great Lakes. I'll be in Midland, Michigan. I'll be driving up there Thursday. Be going to Great Lakes for Friday and Saturday. It's a Friday 6:05, Saturday 1:05 Eastern Time games. And then next week they'll be in Lansing, and I will be going to Tuesday through Saturday's games. So 7 of the first 8 games, I will be driving at least an hour and a half to each game, and it's an hour and a half there, an hour and a half back. And I couldn't be more excited about that, because the baseball that I get to go to games starts. But again, Rancho Cucamonga has a ton of talent. Great Lakes is going to have a ton of talent. And as Motley mentioned, I think Peyton Martin is going to be starting the season in Great Lakes, in which case Great Lakes pitching staff potentially could include a Peyton Martin, a Jackson Ferris maybe, a Peter Hubeck maybe, a Jared Kairos maybe. That 1, 2, 3, 4 combined with whatever pitchers else that they have, whether Maddox Bruns gets sent up or whether he stays down in Great Lakes, that could be absolutely must-see. Rancho might have the must-see lineup. Great Lakes potentially could have the must-see starting pitching staff in the Dodgers system. We'll have to wait and see when the rosters get announced, though. Definitely excited to see their roster announced. That is something that I get super passionate, super excited about, because I get to see the journey of these guys up close and personal. Sammy Boy, thank you so much for joining us tonight. BC, who's pitching tonight? Tonight is going to be James Paxton. You're going to be seeing the debut of James Paxton in a Dodgers uniform during the regular season. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. He's going to be going up against Keaton Winn of the San Francisco Giants, who has pitched once against the Dodgers before. Didn't go too well for Keaton Winn. We'll hope the Dodgers can win tonight against the Giants. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just talk a little bit more, or read a little bit more out of the comments right here. Yes, I believe it's a bullpen game. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If it's not a bullpen game tomorrow, then it would be a Tyler Glasnow pitching tomorrow. I'm not entirely. I believe it is a bullpen game, though, from some of the reports that I was reading, at least on Twitter. Although today, I guess we should take note, it is April Fool's Day. Perhaps I have been a fool this whole time talking about the Dodgers going with a bullpen game tomorrow, and it's actually Tyler Glasnow pitching. So we'll go ahead and talk about what's going on tomorrow and see what happens tomorrow. So what do you guys think of this Dodgers team? How comfortable are you guys with them? What are some of your additional takeaways that you have? We'll continue to go through some of the comments right now. I know there is some back and forth right now. So Yamamoto definitely was somebody who took a step forward and had a little bit of a rebound during his outing, during his appearance that he had a couple days ago on Saturday. That was great to see. Yamamoto still is effective, still has good stuff, and I think it's important for him to find ways to where he doesn't have to go out and throw strikes every time. He's got insane command, but sometimes having insane command doesn't mean throwing 75-80% strikes. It means throwing 65% strikes, but finding the best opportunities to throw those strikes and finding unique ways to get hitters to chase. Those are the adjustments that Yamamoto is going to be making as he continues with his big league journey, as he continues to find ways to get big league hitters out, which is different than getting hitters out in Japan. He's working through that. We saw a lot of good stuff against the Cardinals. We'll have to see some of the stuff as he goes up, I'm assuming against the Cubs during the upcoming road trip that the Dodgers have. Tony, thank you very much for joining us, says hi. Sammy Boy says the Mets released Bickford. Mets released Phil Bickford. I haven't heard the rumor about that a whole lot, but I'm assuming I'll take your word for that. In which case, we'll see what he is able to do. Hope that he has a lot of success and is able to sign with another organization pretty soon. Wish a lot of goodwill and a lot of good luck to all those post-Dodgers and former Dodgers minor league players. I know there's been some guys I've tweeted about that have signed with other organizations. I mentioned to Casey that Carlos De Los Santos, who was unfortunately released by the Dodgers organization because of the crunch at the minor league roster, going from 180 to 165 players that they can have. He is now part of the Detroit Tigers organization, and he's going to be pitching for the West Michigan Whitecaps, in which case Carlos De Los Santos is going to be returning to Dow Diamond April 16th as part of the series against the Whitecaps and the Loons. So excited about him. I know some of the other guys have signed with some independent teams like a Max Hewitt and a Adam Scoggins. I don't know if you guys remember Adam Scoggins. They're both part of the Lincoln Salt Dogs. Wish good luck to all of these guys that move on from the Dodgers organization. There's a lot of great players, and there's so limited opportunities that you just root for the best for a lot of these guys. Right now, we're reading through some of the comments right here. Chris says the Dodgers need to back Will Smith and Austin Barnes up. 2 catchers' interference as many days is unacceptable. That absolutely is right, but I think that is something that the Dodgers don't really have another answer immediately to the catcher position right now, nor are they in any position right now to have an additional catcher be part of this lineup, be part of this organization. So, having some of the heirs part of the catching position, definitely not ideal in any scenario, any sense of the term. Although Austin Barnes, last time I checked, is hitting 500 this season, so all of the trash talk with Austin Barnes may have been ill-founded. Of course, that's only with 2 at-bats during the course of the season. But right now, the Dodgers, especially because Shohei Ohtani is at designated hitter and because Freddie Freeman is at first base, those things will not change. They're not in a position to have another catcher be a part of this major league roster right now, especially because Will Smith and Austin Barnes don't have positional versatility. So they're going to be playing catcher every day. I think they'll be just fine. I have all the confidence in the world. Will Smith, Austin Barnes going forward, playing the catching position behind the plate. Offense, I think Will Smith will be fine. Austin Barnes still have a lot of questions about his offensive ability, though I think he'll be just getting around 200 or so at bats. And with the Dodgers offense, with the way that it is, I think they'll be just fine. Just like BC says, Outman will be just fine. I echo the exact same sentiment. I think James Outman is going to be just fine right here. BC, thank you very much for joining us right now. I always wondered why they don't happen more often given the proximity. Not exactly sure what that is about right there. Sammy Boy Smith's talking about the Rockies and the A's 2-9 outscored 68 to 23. They're worse than last year. Yeah, it's definitely tough. And it's definitely tough to see some of these other organizations struggle. It's good for the Dodgers. Not great if you're a Rockies or especially if you're an Athletics fan. Feel absolutely terrible for the Oakland Athletics fans, especially those that have been fans of the organization for quite a long time. And then we have some comments right here. I'm assuming about Ohtani hitting his first home run. Tony and Chris, I believe, are saying tonight in reference to they believe Shohei Ohtani is going to hit his first home run, regular season home run for the Dodgers tonight. Ray Strada says it's going to be hit his first home run against Logan Webb tomorrow against the Giants. And against the Giants, that would be poetic justice, as Chris says. That would definitely be something where Shohei Ohtani, as Chris also stated, would understand the rivalry if that happens. Justin Nama says you agree with the bullpen game tomorrow, and this is assuming that the bullpen game is happening tomorrow, which I believe is the case. It wasn't initially scheduled, but I believe that is a change of plan that the Dodgers have implemented. I agree with it if the idea is to keep the Dodgers starting pitchers as healthy as possible. I think if that's what the Dodgers mindset is, and they believe providing some additional rest, then I'm fine with having bullpen games happen fairly frequently for this Dodgers club, because the thing that I am concerned about is making sure that these starting pitchers are healthy going into the postseason, and with getting these guys heavy workload early in the season, I don't think would be the smartest, ideal way to make sure that they're healthy and ramped up through the course of the season. These guys are still ramping up. They're still coming back from spring training. They're still working their way back into the regular season. Perhaps providing some rest for this club is going to be the best in the long run for the Dodgers. Is it best for the Dodgers to win the game tomorrow? Perhaps not. I think the Dodgers are better when Tyler Glasnow is pitching than a Ryan Yarbrough-Michael Grove combo, because I think Tyler Glasnow is just that much better. However, in the long run, if the Dodgers feel like this is the move that they need to do to keep their arms healthy, then this is absolutely what the Dodgers should be doing, is trying to make sure their arms can stay as healthy as possible going forward. Hepatitis See You Later says the single A Dodgers, the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, which go and get your tickets. Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, go visit them. Single A Dodgers, the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes could beat the Rockies. That lineup is loaded. Well, I appreciate you know what? I would say that'd be a fun game to watch the Quakes go up against the Rockies. I'm assuming the Rockies would win their professional hitters, but don't count out the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes to put up a real fight against the Rockies, especially because the Rockies are struggling right now, and their lineup just isn't to the caliber that the Dodgers are in. So, be on the lookout. That would be definitely something to keep an eye out for. Also, get your tickets for Rancho Cucamonga Quakes April 9th, opening day in Rancho Cucamonga. Or if you want to go on the road, April 5th will be their actual opening day. Go check that out. Just anonymous, because this team is going to a 6-man rotation in 2025 with Ohtani back in the mix, you think they should try to shift to a 6-man in 2024 to prepare themselves for 2025? I think, and this is something that Casey and I have talked about when we were talking about the Dodgers in the 6-man rotation. It will be, they'll have a 5-man rotation, or they won't have a 6-man rotation, kind of. Meaning they're going to do stuff like bullpen games, like they are likely to do during tomorrow's game, where they are going to use a bunch of different relievers to try to provide rest for a lot of their starters, where they're going to call guys up and down, use the Oklahoma City to Los Angeles train or plane to try to get healthy arms into the rotation. I think this is more likely what you're going to see, because if you go with a strict 6-man rotation where pitchers are pitching every 6 days, the necessity that you need out of the bullpen is you need pitchers that can provide length. And I think the Dodgers have a lot of really good pitchers, but not all guys that you want pitching 2 innings every single game. I think Joe Kelly is likely a 1-inning guy, or you would prefer him to be a 1-inning guy. Same with a Evan Phillips, same with a, when he come healthy, a Brusar Gratterall and a Blake Trinan, same with a Daniel Hudson. I think a lot of these guys are shorter inning type pitchers, which if you have a lot of those guys and you don't want to pitch these guys every single day, that creates having a 7-man bullpen, which is the result of having a 6-man rotation, a little bit difficult if you don't have a lot of length from that 7-man bullpen. So they will be creative and do things exactly like they did today or what they did yesterday. They sent down Kyle Hurt. I disagree with that decision. I believe Kyle Hurt is a great pitcher, and I believe that he needs runtime at the big league level. They decided to call up Nabil Crismatt to get a healthy arm and to try to keep these pitchers as healthy as possible. And then today they designated for assignment Nabil Crismatt and brought up Dinelson Lamet, who could pitch tonight, could be part of the bullpen game tomorrow, could be part of any one of these games, is another pitcher that is going to provide some innings for the Dodgers. I think that is more likely the case in this season. If the Dodgers wanted to transition to a 6-man rotation early this season, they would need to rely on guys like a Michael Grove, guys like a Kyle Hurt, guys like a Landon Knack, or some of those type of guys that can provide length out of the bullpen, that can eat up a lot of significant chunks of innings at a time, so that can provide you with some ability to give these short inning pitchers like an Evan Phillips or like a Gratterall or like a Daniel Hudson or like a Blake Trinan ability to come in during those short innings and not have to pitch almost every single day, which is not good for their long-term health. So that is a great discussion. That is great thing to talk about, especially because the Dodgers, there seems to be more and more rumors about the Dodgers and Roki Sasaki and potentially him wanting to come to the Dodgers coming up in 2025. There's been some rumors and some reports about that. And with Shohei Ohtani hopefully being healthy, ready to go by the start of the 2025 season on the pitching side, you could see possibilities, or the Dodgers have to be even more creative on how to give their starting pitchers some rest, because that seems to be what Shohei Ohtani did when he was with the Angels. So we'll have to see what the Dodgers do going forward in 2025. 2024, I think they are happy with the plan that they have implemented and have used in the past. So we'll have to wait and see how the Dodgers are able to do. Sounds like it is currently 9:34 a.m. in Japan. It's a 16-hour time difference, so it's not that bad. Just starting off the workday in the morning for some of our fans over in Japan who are tuning in to Dawgs, part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Thank you so much for joining us from all the way across the world. I know we have fans from Japan and from Thailand, a lot of different countries. That's what we love to provide coverage to, not just the people here in America, but all over the world as well, and we'll do our best going forward. Yeah, and so there's some back and forth as far as the Dodgers, and then as far as whether it's a bullpen game or whether it's a Tyler Glasnow is going to pitch tomorrow. I believe it's a bullpen game. Could be mistaken with that as well. And then One Eye Dragon says, watch Sasaki sign with the Angels. That would be pretty funny. And Hepatitis C later says, Bob Nightingale article said multiple rival GMs believe Rocky's plans to sign with the Dodgers. Yeah, there is certainly a lot of rumors right now. Tony says Roki won't sign with the Dodgers until he's 25. This is part of the back and forth that we'll have to wait and see what happens with the Dodgers, with Roki Sasaki, and with his club. I know Roki Sasaki is going to do everything, or a lot of the rumors, I should say, seems like he's going to do everything he can to try to get over to the United States, to go over and pitch for the major leagues. There's going to be some back and forth, and it's going to be a lot of him fighting to make it to the major leagues. When that process, I'm not entirely sure, I'm not an expert on how this process is going to work out. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Roki Sasaki. There's a lot of rumors and speculation about him coming to the Dodgers as soon as 2025, which he's, 22 years old? If he has to wait until he's 25, that's an additional 3 years that the Dodgers would have to wait. If that happens, I think the Dodgers still would be super happy with the return they would get. Because right now, all the rumors indicate Roki Sasaki could be coming to the Dodgers, and that seems perhaps likely, or at least this is the latest rumors right now. Sammy Boys mentioned Kevin Biggio, who does play at the Toronto Blue Jays. He is Craig's son, the Hall of Famer Craig Biggio. He is part of the Blue Jays right now. Justin Lamas, Glasnow max innings in a season is 120 and has massive injury history. Yamamoto used to pitch once in 6 in Japan. Also, LA has a history of bad injury luck in their starting pitching staff. That has to be at least part of the equation of why the Dodgers would use a bullpen type game, or why they would call up some of these veteran type players that they feel comfortable with designating for assignments in place of giving some much needed run time for a Kyle Hurt. Has to be into the equation that the Dodgers want to make sure that their pitchers are as healthy as possible. That has to be in the equation, and that is something that is of top priority for the Dodgers. They have to make sure that Tyler Glasnow, who, yes, hasn't pitched more than 120 innings, perhaps there's been some misdiagnosis with some of his past injury history, or perhaps there's reason to believe why Tyler Glasnow can pitch more than 120 innings this season. He has to be ready and healthy to go for the postseason. Same with a Yamamoto. They want to make sure that he is healthy through as he adjusts to the big league level. They have to make sure that Bobby Miller is healthy as he gets a full major league season's worth of innings under his belt. That it has to be top priority, and that is something that is kept in mind with all of these decisions for the Dodgers. Johnny Owen, thank you so very much for joining us. Andy Pages is waiting in the wings. That is absolutely right. Just be patient with Andy Pages. He had his triple for the Oklahoma City Baseball Club, the AAA affiliate of the Dodgers. That is something that if you notice with a lot of these shows, I'll keep saying the Oklahoma City Baseball Club just because it drives Casey a little bit nuts at times. They will have a new name coming for the 2025 season, but for 2024, Andy Pages is a baseball club player. And he plays for the Oklahoma City Baseball Clubs. He shouldn't be there for too long, although that is entirely dependent on injuries for the Dodgers, who is healthy, and when the Dodgers decide is the best time for Andy Pages to make the big league club, and if some of the major league players like a Jason Hayward are struggling or injured. I think right now, if it was something where Jason Hayward, who is not part of the lineup tonight, dealing with some injuries, if he had to be sent to the injured list, which I'm not anticipating at all, I think the first call up is likely Miguel Vargas because of his big league experience, and I think that the Dodgers want to give Andy Pages some more run time than just the now 4 games at the AAA level that he has. He did have a triple the other day, which was really cool to see. I think they want to give Andy Pais a little bit more run time, so I think an emergency situation early in the season, likely Miguel Vargas, who's getting adapted in left field. I think that's going to be a good role for him. But later in the season, as Andy Pais, who has a track record in history of performing exceptionally well at the minor league level with great power and has great upside and potential, I think he's waiting in the wings, and we will wait and see Andy Pais come up and be a part of this Dodgers club going forward. Hepatitis see you later, says Artie Moreno, owner of the Angels, would probably believe Sasaki would be expensive, even though he can only sign for international money. Poking fun at Artie Moreno, who did pass on Andy Pais. We'll have to see how the Angels are able to do during this upcoming season. Ron Washington is amazing. I'm glad he's back in the manager position. We'll see how the big league club is able to do and the front office decisions that they make. Ray Estrada says, can't wait for DePaula. He's a beast. Yeah, and if you want to go watch Josue DePaula during the start of the 2024 season, especially if you're in California, you best go ahead and get your tickets to the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. They start April 9th. Josue DePaula is going to be a part of that club, and if his talent level has any indication of how quickly he can move up through this organization, he's going to be a Great Lakes Loon pretty soon, and he could have an impact on the Great Lakes Loons during their 2024 bid for a Midwest League Championship. So go out April during this month and go watch Josue DePaula play for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes while you can. Going ahead and right now, talking about some other players right now. Hepatitis see you later. Osorio and Perez, good prospects too. Need some of these infield prospects to pan out. Yeah, there's a lot of talent on the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes roster, which if you haven't had a chance to check it out, this is the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes current roster or opening day roster. You can see on the position player side, a ton of talent on their roster. Even guys that I might not be as familiar with or haven't had a chance to see in action a whole lot, still have a ton of talent. And the Dodgers, especially with their ability internationally to bring in talent, the Dodgers have a pipeline, or seem to have a pipeline, of bringing in great international position player and pitching prospects. And you get to see that on full display during the 2024 campaign for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Season starts April 5th, home over April 9th. Go check out the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Just going through some of the other comments right here. Outman is a big concern. Pais is waiting in the wings. I'm not too concerned about James Outman yet. Yes, he hasn't been performing. It's been 6 games, though. Be patient with a lot of these guys. He will figure it out. Last year, he was a 4.5 WAR player. I believe the offensive tools are still in there, that I'm not giving up on James Outman just yet after 6 games. Although the Dodgers do have a lot of talent that can supplement for him if this becomes a continual problem. But with James Outman, I'll see how he's doing and how he's struggling towards the later parts of this month, and then I'll start, as I get a little bit of a bigger sample size, be able to start to reevaluate. But I think we were saying a lot of the same things about a Max Muncy during the start of the season after the first couple of games. Yes, there is concerns defensively, but even offensively, he wasn't providing for a lot of power, or he wasn't coming up clutch with runners on base during certain times. And then he hit the home run yesterday. Then he hit the game-tying single on Saturday's game. I think we have to be patient with these guys, and I think these guys, their track record indicates that they can and will be good, solid players. Wait for the process to play out, trust the process, and I think everything will be fine. I know that's a cliche thing to say, but it's also true, especially once you get larger and larger sample sizes going forward and you get to see the full picture of how the 2024 campaign is going to play out. So be patient with that. Just Yama says Yamamoto's next start is scheduled for Saturday, April 6th at Wrigley. If you live in the Chicago area, go check out Yoshinobu Yamamoto during that weekend. Justin Lamas, I'll give you credit. I didn't have confidence in Stone entering the season. He was great yesterday. Yeah, and Gavin Stone has always had that ability in him. I got a chance to see that up close and personal, sitting behind the plate several different times in West Michigan when Gavin Stone in 2022 and 2021 towards the end of the season pitched for the Great Lakes Loons. His changeup is nasty. His stuff that he has is really great, and with some of the changes that he has made to his arsenal last year, he wasn't really comfortable with a lot of his arsenal. At least it appeared to be that way, given how he was performing. Gavin Stone still has that good, solid ability, and we got to see the effectiveness of Gavin Stone during his outing yesterday, during a large portion of it. Gavin Stone is fighting. Walker Buehler is coming back. Gavin Stone has to know that, but with his outings, continue to work through the process, and it is in the absolute best interest of the Dodgers organization to have Gavin Stone be a good, solid, effective pitcher for this club, for this organization going forward. Like we stated earlier in the show, more options of pitching, the better your organization and club is going to be. So, be patient with Gavin Stone, but also celebrate a lot of the good that we see from Gavin Stone, because even if you don't picture Gavin Stone being part of this club long term, a better Gavin Stone gets you a better trade piece going forward. But even then, right now, Gavin Stone has an important part on this Dodgers club. He provides important innings, and it was great to see what he was able to do against the Cardinals on Sunday. And I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do, probably on Sunday against the Chicago Cubs going forward. Yes, Ryan Pepiot is pitching for the Tampa Bay Rays, struggling a little bit tonight. However, don't give up on Ryan Pepiot. If you are a fan of the Tampa Bay Rays, if you're a fan of these guys in this Dodgers system, Ryan Pepiot, I believe, is going to be just fine. Don't be rooting for the downfall of the guys that get traded away just so the Dodgers can say they can win a trade. I think that is important because I think part of the creating the Dodgers culture, a culture that cares about the players and their success, even if they're not part of the organization, means so much to these players, means so much to this team. And that is something that we are trying to create here at Dodgers Daily. Something that Casey has been really important in why he covers every single guy in this organization. Every single guy in the organization is important, makes an impact, even if they're not on the big league club or not part of the big league picture. That culture that is created, that winning culture that we talked about with Rancho Cucamonga, who made it to the California League Championship last year, the California League South Division champions. The Great Lakes Loons, who won the Midwest League East Division last year. That winning culture matters, and that teaches these players how to win going forward, which is so incredibly important as they come up and are expected to know how to win at the big league level. Creating that culture and rooting for these guys as they go to other organizations. Don't root for them when they're playing against the Dodgers. You won't, and I won't either. But as they go up against other teams, I think seeing their success is something that is really cool and helps with this Dodgers culture. As was noted during a tweet by Baseball America this past week that says that looking across opening day rosters, you want to know which club had the most homegrown talent that was on their club, not necessarily on their organization, but across Major League Baseball. As far as the draft, which team drafted the most players that were on opening day rosters? It was the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they have not drafted towards the top of the draft in a long time, meaning they should be at a disadvantage. Yet that speaks to the credit of this development staff, that speaks credit to the coaching staff, and level to the talent that this Dodgers team has. And that has created a sustainable, successful team that can win which has won for a decade plus during the regular season, and that I believe going forward will continue to win, and hopefully will be winning in postseason as well. Dodgers have a great foundation, which is why we think so highly of this organization and think so highly of the guys in the system, because even if it doesn't work out, for example, like Ryan Noda in the Dodgers uniform, he turns out to be a leadoff hitter for the Oakland A's, which I know is not saying much, but Ryan Noda is a really good, really talented player. I talk about a lot of other players as well that have moved on to other organizations. I think I root for them as they continue through their endeavor, and I think that speaks highly of the Dodgers culture that they have. Just talking right here, going into the comment section, we'll keep going for another 10 or so minutes here. Do you think platooning is already hurting Lux and Outman's offense? I think it's too early to make that indication, and especially with James Outman, who's seen that platoon situation. We saw that during the course of, I believe it was yesterday's game. Hasn't seen it a whole lot. Platooning, I believe, is intended to create the best matchups and intended to create opportunities for some of your guys off the bench. Chris Taylor and Kike Hernandez are not on this team to sit on the bench and only get 200 plate appearances. They're going to get 300, 350 plate appearances during the course of the season, and that's going to become by optimizing the matchups that the Dodgers can to put themselves in the best position to win. Now the question is that hurting James Outman and Gavin Lux's offense? I think that's too early to tell what exactly an impact it has, because I think they're going to be fine offensively. I don't think platooning is the reason why they're struggling. I think it just has to do with looking at a microscope onto the season when we haven't seen the full picture of what they're able to do. When I think once they get enough at-bats, I think they'll be just fine going forward. A lot of people are struggling and believe that James Outman is going to be an automatic out or is going to have a sophomore slump. Be patient. Don't give up on a 4.5 WAR player so easily. That, I believe, is an unwise thing to do. And I still very much am firmly planted and believe that James Outman is a not only a major league caliber player, but a good, solid major league center fielder. And especially if the Dodgers want going forward to sign a lot of good impact players, having James Outman on the league minimum on your team is in the best interest and creates flexibility for this Dodgers team going forward. I think that is, I think he's still a great player for the Dodgers, and we'll figure this out going forward. Although we'll have to wait and see. Michael, thank you very much for joining us from Thailand. Go Dodgers to you, and thank you so much for joining. I have a lot of friends over there in northern Thailand, so Thailand definitely has a special place in my heart right here. Junior, hello from Fresno. Go Dodgers. If you're from Fresno, California, Fresno Grizzlies, I believe we'll be playing the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. I don't know when, but as we stated earlier in the show, you get a chance to see Josue De Paula and Kendall George, Zaire Hope, that outfield for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes to start the 2024 campaign, potentially come to Fresno. I don't know, or don't have Rancho's schedule memorized, but highly recommend checking them out if you're in the area. But I am grateful that you are joining us here, Dodgers Dogs, part of the Dodgers Daily Network. One Eye Dragon says, go Ohtani and the other Dodgers. Absolutely. Go Dodgers. Legend, thank you so much for joining us. Realistically, when it comes to time for the trade deadline, who are some of the targets and who would the Dodgers trade? Great question. It is difficult right now to anticipate that type of thing, only because I know, and this is not something that you ever root for, there will be an injury or two that happens that the Dodgers will likely need to fill a hole in. That's why the Dodgers didn't go all in for an Emmanuel Clase or a Devin Williams, who is now hurt for the Brewers, a bullpen piece like that, and trade away a bunch of prospects, because they knew they had to create options and flexibility for when it came to the trade deadline. if a Gavin Lux is still struggling, perhaps the Dodgers go out and get a Willie Adames or a shortstop to move Mookie Betts over to second base, especially if Gavin Lux is struggling offensively. That could be potentially a move just looking early into the season that the Dodgers could do. And then I think that is likely the move that they would make, assuming that no injury happens offensively. I still think Max Muncy is going to be the third baseman for this Dodgers team throughout the course of the season, unless he gets injured. And I think the offense is pretty set. Perhaps you get another outfielder for Jason Hayward, although I believe Andy Pages could fill in that role. On the pitching side, which is where a lot of injuries tend to occur, if it came down to tomorrow when it was the trade deadline and the Dodgers had to make a move, I think you would see the Dodgers load up on some bullpen pieces. That seems to be an easy bet. And then depending on the health and progress of some of the starting pitchers, perhaps you could see them coming up. And then as far as prospects that they would trade in return, it's far too early to speculate. If history has any indication, at least from this offseason, perhaps it is guys at the upper levels of the minor league system who aren't given enough or don't have the ability to have opportunities at the big league level. Perhaps they get opportunities with another organization if the Dodgers are able to work that out. It is far too early to see who the Dodgers are going to trade going forward. Justin Lamas, thanks for joining us tonight. Need to hit the road. Thanks for the chat. We'll watch the playback. Thank you so much for joining us. BC, how old is Austin? 26. I'm not 26. I'm a little bit younger than that. I'm 24 years old. Sammy Boy, good to know. I can shut down haters when they come at us with checkbook baseball. That's part of the thing with the Dodgers, and that part of the thing that the Baseball America article, although it doesn't directly address, is something, an implication that the Dodgers have. Their system that the Dodgers have is important to keep an eye out for, and this is something that Casey addressed during the video that he posted on Sunday, which Sunday was Easter. Hope you guys had a great Easter. Easter is really important to me and something that I had a really good time on Easter for. This Dodger system it is really important to keep an eye out for. And it is a crucial reason why the Dodgers have been as successful as they have been. Every single part of your organizational structure is important, not just at the big league level. If you just have a good big league level team, eventually that team will crumble. And if you have nothing else to help withstand it, help supplement it, you're not going to have a good big league club. A la what happened to the Detroit Tigers when they didn't have a minor league system, when they didn't have a good, solid analytical department. When they fell behind at times, they went into a decade of irrelevancy. The Dodgers have a great structure, not just a big league club, not just the payroll to help supplement it. They also have the minor league system and an emphasis on coaching and development and winning at the minor league level that can create a culture of winning that will help create the foundation of this Dodgers superstructure. It is not just about making or signing players and playing checkbook baseball. It is not just about trading away guys. It is about the overall structure and foundation of this Dodgers team, this Dodgers system, this Dodgers organization, which has allowed them to be so successful and created opportunities for them to succeed and go far in the postseason. It hasn't always worked out for the Dodgers in the postseason. There's various reasons for that, but the overall foundation and structure is important to keep an eye out for, which is why it's important to keep an eye out for the minor league system, not just for the Dodgers of tomorrow. They are part of the Dodgers system today, and they are worth watching today. And as the baseball club, the Oklahoma City Baseball Club, has started their season, they will be coming back home to the old Bricktown Ballpark Tuesday, April 2nd. That is tomorrow. They will be starting their regular season at home then. And then the Tulsadrillers, the AA affiliate, will be starting their season along with the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes on April 5th. as well as the team that I follow, the team that I go to at least 30 to 35 games of every single year, and I watch every single one of their games, the Great Lakes Loons, the high A affiliate of the Dodgers. Definitely keep an eye out for this system, not just for anticipation of what the Dodgers could be tomorrow, but also because these guys are incredibly talented and they are worth watching today. So if you're in California, you saw the roster today of the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, which includes Josue De Paula. Go out and get your tickets. Go get some Rancho Cucamonga Quakes tickets and show support and try to create that winning culture there. If you're in the Midwest, go out and support the Great Lakes Loons. April 5th is going to be opening day. I will be there. I'll be sitting in section 107, close to behind home plate with some of the people that I go with. Couldn't be more excited about this and so grateful for you guys here at Dodgers Daily, part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Dodgers Dawgs, live Monday night. It's been a great show. Thank you so much for joining us. Here we will be back. I believe there will be a video that gets posted tomorrow, and then we should be back live Wednesday night. Casey and I will be live Friday night, and Saturday I will be out because I will be at games. I will be on the road in Midland, Michigan for the Great Lakes Loons. But Wednesday night we will be back. Dodgers Dawgs, Casey and I'm sure we'll be talking about Tulsa and Great Lakes and even some Rancho roster, as well as the Dodgers action. Dodgers start in about an hour against the San Francisco Giants. James Paxton makes his debut. Until next time, until Wednesday night when we go live, be sure to tune in to the video tomorrow. But until Wednesday night, I want to say thank you very much for joining us. Go Dodgers and go Loons.